Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to let's check if we've got the right mic. It looks like we do. What's up, guys? Hope everyone's doing good. Big day ahead of us. Lot to go through. As always, we'll go through a bunch of markets. We'll probably focus primarily on the USD pairs, of course. We do have the interest rates later, so formulate a plan. What's the plan of action if potentially we see as expected, consensus met. What's the plan there? And of course, if things change, we have a plan for that as well. So we'll discuss that in detail. Of course, any markets you're interested in, any markets you're trading or you have in your watch list and you want a second opinion, drop in the chat and we can definitely discuss that. Of course, I'll go through my watch list as well, what I'm looking at, what the plan is, or what my plan is for the USD pairs and other markets, of course, not just the USD pairs as well. If you are enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. Make sure you do hit the bell. And of course, make sure you do subscribe. I'm not sure if I said that already, but if you haven't, make sure you do subscribe. What's up, Replay? Hope you're doing good. Hello, my man. What's up, Leon Pitch from Nigeria? Big up to yourself. Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing well. Aman, welcome to the stream. Dollar CAD, dollar yen. Yes, we'll go through. We'll just start with the DXY and then we'll work our way through the USD pairs because, of course, that's where the main focus is. So, of course, any other requests, just drop it down in the chat and we shall get to it. But we'll start with the dollar and then I'll go through dollar CAD and dollar yen as well. So, with the DXY, we are in an interesting situation. Of course, a lot of the analysis I say here is primarily to do with what's happening right now and the higher time frames. But of course, take that with a pinch of salt because my analysis could change by this time tomorrow, depending what happens later today. And I would heavily advise not to look for any big positions, swing positions now, because the market is getting primed up, ready to reset again after the interest rates are all said and done with. And of course, the press conferences happen. So if you are looking to trade today, especially on the USD markets, I would just suggest some intraday small ideas, and that's kind of what I'll discuss a lot in today's stream. Some short-term ideas where you can be in and out, and you don't have to sit through the news where things can get ugly. And it's best just to wait to see what the news happens, and then look for maybe some bigger positions from tomorrow onwards. So primarily from a more of an intraday perspective here for USD, we do have some bullish structures creeping up. I did talk about this high early in the week. I said this could be an interesting area where price potentially might move towards before potentially continuing selling. If we do break through that, I will have a little look see in terms of market structure. I made it to shift my bias from the higher time frames because price is now breaking structure and creating new highs. But in terms of the intraday play, we are still seeing a very corrective uptrend at play. So if I drop to like an hourly chart, momentum is quite corrected, but I like the buys. So I would suggest if you are looking for opportunities here, I would suggest looking for some pullback and some buying opportunities makes the most sense. Let's make that a bit bright so we can see. So I would be looking at some opportunities that kind of fit this degree here. So we've already had a bounce this morning, potentially might stall and come back. I think that'll be a smart play for a buy. Again, all of this needs to happen before the Fed interest rate. You don't want to be looking for this trade idea as the interest rate comes into play because that can very much go out the window. So this is something we want to see before the interest rate happens. It's a shame they've already had the bounce there. This could happen a little bit later in the day. I think that could be a nice opportunity. Or if you've already caught the move, then we'll discuss that in euro and pound. But from a DXY perspective, I'd be looking at a drive back to resistance here. And I think there's a good chance we could do that before interest rates later today. So that's kind of the play I'm looking at. In terms of entries, either you're already in the trade or you're looking for price to come back and retest it and then find your buys from there. I think that's the sensible play. If we discuss dollar CAD and dollar yen, so dollar CAD, if we take that in consideration of what we saw in the DXY is going to make that move higher. There could be some short-term buys here in dollar CAD, although I'm pretty bearish on this one in the higher time frames. You had a very aggressive sell-off, and what I'm looking at for dollar CAD on the higher time frames is a bit of a pullback for some more downside. That's the play I'm looking at, but again, that's more of an opportunity post the interest rate today. So a bit more intraday, which is what I'm trying to focus a bit more on at the moment. To be honest, I don't really see any good buying opportunities. If anything, there might be some short-term sells as price does hold resistance very, very well. And of course, we have naturally all that momentum in play. But I wouldn't again be looking at a continuation play here for dollar CAD. At most, maybe a push back to this area. So price rejects resistance, maybe a wick through the high, and then we see a pushback down to that area. I think again that's a short-term play, could be done before the news later today. It makes sense to take your profit and run. Maybe this does break through and we see some follow through and the trend continues. Maybe for that reason you bullet, we break through this area and then tomorrow we speak about some pullbacks, potentially high low, and dollar CAD could be looking a bit more similar to what the DX was. We've got one low, second, could be trying to catch the third one maybe tomorrow or Friday next week. So again, just looking at the short-term plays, dollar CAD for me, shorts make the most sense, especially if you can run the highs and then recover that. That would be a nice entry in itself, and then a push towards the low there. I think that's a smart trade for the day. And if we don't get there by, again, then you can just call it quits and take a profit and run. As for dollar yen, momentum's picked up very well. Of course, across the board, the yen pair looking very, very healthy, and dollar yen has followed suit. Again, from a short perspective, high time frames, I'm very, very bullish on the yen. I still do think price can run and take out the highs here to our left. So I do think price is still likely to continue. I'm still very bullish across the board, across the pairs, dollar yen included. It's just that we have to, be a little bit wary of the news today. That could give us a bit of a drop, obviously. So dollar yen still a very healthy trend. Momentum's picked up. We had a really nice break of the counter trend line, which is again showing momentum is back in favor of the buyers, and the buyers are predominantly in control of the market. So again, from a dollar yen perspective, purely technical, this is the direction I'll be looking to trade towards. In terms of opportunities, again, what would be nice potentially if we could run this slow, give us a nice flag pattern. So we've got one drive, second drive, and then the continuation. This is where you want to try and position your entries. Also coming into contact with some nice demand zone just below us as well. So that's nice added confidence. But the way I see it, a lot of momentum, sharp breakout, not seeing any selling pressure. Test the low, there's a good chance we can find support and potentially continue. And there's a lot of room to the upside still. Again, worry for this one is the news later today. So again, from a short-term perspective, we can get a drop, maybe a nice trade back to the high, could be a nice trade potentially. Again, don't quite get it, you can always close the trade a little bit earlier. But yeah, again, we're focusing a bit more on the intraday play at the moment. I think this is smart trade, but it's in your favor, high time frames in your favor. You look at analysis from the other on the markets, pretty much all the yen pairs, you've got that supporting that direction as well. So in terms of dollar yen, very, very bullish, like the upside. Okay, US 30, we'll take a look. I'm still very interested in the indices. Very bullish across the board. So again, post news, I'll be looking for opportunities to buy it. Of course, everything still looks good. But we definitely speak about a bunch of them. We'll start off US 30, HP50, JP225. Both okay, we can discuss those as well. What's up? What's your view on gold? Yeah, we can take a look at gold as well. Gold's going to be interesting. It's very, it's just that we're kind of stuck at resistance, so we don't really have a good location for entry just yet to do something. But it's still bullish on gold, still looking for short-term highs. We'll go into a lot of detail. First, I'll take a look at US 30. We go through some of the other indices. HP50, I don't really look at much, so that would be an interesting one to look at. JP225, I didn't look at much today with it. It's a good kind of metric to look at in regards to the yen. But I kind of look at the yen basket a little more. We can look at both. So yeah, in terms of US 30, momentum still up. But last change in policy of the Fed. This is the last time price reacted to changing policy from the Fed. So interesting enough, we do drop a VWAP from that. Price is maintained above that VWAP. Has dipped below twice, but overall price is still maintaining above that VWAP, which shows that okay, the bigger players are buying, still in profit, still looking healthy. I would expect higher prices from that perspective. So US 30, I spoke a lot about this one on the weekly analysis. So really like a price action, the higher time frame, we just still see momentum across the board. Weekly chart gave us a nice a couple of weeks back. Still expect us to go and see some new highs. very, very soon. It's just about timing entries with this one. In terms of where I want to get an entry, it is at this low. I was actually looking at this low earlier in the week, but I just decided not to take the trade because of course, we got the Fed coming out later, so I don't want to get in too early. Because typically, before such a big announcement, you see bigger pullbacks, a lot of noise. And if you look at past history, normally we do have a little bit of a shake news happens, and then the move does take place. So, especially if you're looking for a swing trade. Day trading is different, you can get involved, but from a swing trading perspective, want to enter mostly most news unless you're already in from a back. So I don't mind if price was to reclaim this level. So let's say if price was to close back above this level here, I would actually look at that as an entry. So something like this. Again, all of this is post news, by the way. I can look at this as an entry there, and who stops are kind of target the high. Or if we do come deeper, I'll look at a bounce at this level. Same idea, looking to target the high as well. Of course, I can look at some gains at the local resistance there. So very, very bullish on the Dow Jones here, expecting higher prices. Two looking at we have broken through this one and we are holding below, but should we recover it, that would be an entry for myself. But let's say the news happens and price has a bit of a drop, that's fine as well. Even better, really, because be buying at a better price. See what price can do here, and then again looking for the same move back to high. So both those levels are my focus. If it would break through both of them, that's going to change my bias. But at that point, I don't really have a level to buy from. So then I will just kind of take a back seat, see what happens. Maybe start on higher highs and higher lows again. And then later on, I'll look for a pullback sometime next week. But those are the two levels where my primary focus is on. And then I'll focus, hopefully, on some other USD markets as well. We'll take a look at HK50 and JP225 next. Replay, the voice is not clear. Sound issue. I'm using the wrong mic. Let me check. Is the voice clear or is it just the echo? Because I know there's a lot of echo here. I want to check if I might exit this stream and then come back and see if that helps. Is it worse? Is it worse than yesterday? If it was on the stream yesterday, let me know if it was worse. Because if it is, then I'm probably using the wrong mic. Yeah, worse than yesterday. Okay. Okay, so I'll exit the stream and I'll come back again, resetting the mic. So bear with me, ladies and gents. Yeah, Philip, we'll take a look at UK 100 as well.